Tonight, with children dying in a toxic European refugee camp, critics accuse the UN of literally deadly neglect.
Ne daj Bože, može da umru na mesto.
Olov, sve to, moju decu su razboljeli. Sve od olova.
G'day, welcome again. Also tonight, Barack Obama's whirlwind first 100 days in office, including this week's headbutting of the CIA over their use of torture.
Yeah, at the same time, the people there in Langley, his audience was as enthusiastic as any other Obama rally.
Plus, why so many Israelis are enamoured with their new foreign minister, the highly controversial Avigdor Lieberman. To his critics, a dangerous demagogue.
And that's one of the things I personally really like, that he really says what he thinks. He's not afraid of anybody.
He speaks for the bile in part of the electorate, and that's why they vote for him.
First up, though, if there's one group of people who always seem to get the proverbial pointy end of the stick, it's Europe's gypsies, or Roma as they're otherwise known. They've been harassed and reviled in pretty much every country they've gone to. Recently, reporter Amos Roberts was in Kosovo, where he unearthed a particularly shameful story about the shabby treatment of these unfortunate folk and their families.
Gdziecia tym wykryć wyszym, jako promoję.
Dobre. Ciaby bobi tu. Ciao. A po bobi tu.
Feruz Jahirovic knows that any given morning might be his daughter's last.
Aki flačke jam? Aki flajbuti? Ajte biva jam?
All 9 of his children are slowly being poisoned.
Zeme, ej.
Many parents know how tall or how heavy their kids are. Some may even know their IQ. But Flonza and her husband Feruz know how much lead is in their children's blood.
Jahirović Venera. Ona ima 55, 56. Ima olovo. Jahirović Musa. On isto ima veliku količinu, mislim da ima 43,8 olova.
There's no safe level for lead in the human body. Brain damage is thought to start at around 10 micrograms of lead per decilitre of blood. These children have 4 to 5 times that amount.
Emina isto, ona mi je bolesna. Mislim da ima 47,11. Jahirović Sara, ona mi ima 3 godine, a boluju me od srce koji ima 3 vrste šume u srce, a ima i problema sa zdravlje. Ne daj Bože, može da umru na mesto.
Olov, sve to, moju decu su razboljeli. Sve od olova. Da.
Sadly, the Jahirovic children are not unusual among the Roma refugees living here in Mitrovica.
In 2005, you took hair samples from all the children in the camps and sent them to a laboratory in Chicago for testing. What did they say to you about what they found?
They called me. They didn't believe the results. They did it 3 times. They told me these are the highest levels they've measured in human hair worldwide.
It should be no surprise that the highest lead levels ever recorded have been found in camps built next to Europe's largest lead mine. I'm standing on around 150 million tonnes of toxic waste. Below me are the Chesmen Lug and Osterode refugee camps, where 150 gypsy families breathe in the lead dust that blows through this valley every day. They've been here for more than 9 years. Perhaps the most shocking part of this story is the fact that the Roma have been let down by the very people charged with protecting them. It was the United Nations High Commission for Refugees, the UNHCR, which first housed the Roma on toxic land. And it was the United Nations mission in Kosovo, or UNMIK, which governed here for almost 9 years. Why has it taken so long to find a lasting solution for these people?
Actually, it's a good question, but the answer is very complex.
I think that the UN had its hands tied by the overall problems affecting the region.
Could you blame them for feeling bitter?
Absolutely, I would feel the same. There's no doubt about that.
Over the centuries, the Roma have done their best to avoid persecution by fitting in with their neighbours. Like Kosovo's Albanians, most of the families here are Muslim. But the Jahirovich's faith didn't protect them from ethnic cleansing in 1999. A few years ago, Feruz Jahirovich took a filmmaker to see the ruins of his home.
These 2 big houses were his. This was his and the second one was of his brother.
During the war in 1999, Albanians forced Feruz and his neighbours out of their homes, accusing them of collaborating with the Serbs.
They had very beautiful mind. They had every possibility. He doesn't want to go, he cannot see it. He feels sorry.
8,000 people lived here once. It was the largest Roma community in Kosovo.
Just over the river, we're coming up to the old gypsy neighborhood called Fabrička.
Paul Polanski has been campaigning for Mitrovic's Roma ever since the war. He first met them shortly after they'd fled to the Serbian side of the city.
This is where I found the Roma camped out in August 1999. 800 of them in this school building, camped out on the grounds. It was a real disaster, this scene. They hadn't had water, hygiene products, or food for many weeks.
When the local authorities wanted the school back, the UNHCR arranged to house the families in tents just outside of town. That first site was only a few metres away from some of the slag heaps.
So I protested. I said, anybody can see with the naked eye. This is toxic wasteland. You can't put them here. And they assured me they would only be here for 45 days.